When Karna in the Mahabharata, his chariot wheel got stuck in the ground, Lord Krishna told Arjun, look, here's your chance. Right now his back is towards you. When his chest is towards you, you will not be able to shoot him. So hit him in the back. Karna heard Lord Krishna. He had been born through the ear, so his ears were very powerful. His name is Karna. He said, Sri Krishna, you are God. You have manifested the laws of dharma in the Vedas. And you are teaching Arjun adharma? What kind of God are you? So Karna said, Kshatra dharma mavekshasva. Oh Sri Krishna, what is the dharma of Kshatriyas? Think. In the year 2009, India's Enron scandal came to light. Satyam Infotech was one of the big 3 IT companies of the world. Its CEO, Ramalinga Raju, was found to have committed fraud over a period of successive years to the tune of 11,000 crore rupees. He had been showing non-existent employees and siphoning their salaries. There were loans given to relatives and friends. There were inappropriate takeovers and mergers. And that money he had used to purchase villas in 63 countries. He possessed 15 limousines and 300 pairs of shoes. Ramalinga Raju was intelligent, skillful, well educated. He had been to Ohio University. He had been a part of the Owners and Presidents program at the Harvard Business School. So there is no doubt, to reach the top of the IT world, he was inspired. Where he tripped was in purity of intention. So what then is pure intention? Ramalinga Raju's case was an extreme one. He was using completely fraud and deceitful means to achieve his goals. But what if he had not done fraud? He was merely amassing wealth and fame and control. Would his intention be considered pure? That's the question to ponder over today. If we had asked Ramalinga Raju what he was doing, he would have said he was pursuing success or protecting the success he had already acquired. The problem was his definition of success itself was defective. Our intention can only be pure when the success we have defined for ourselves is pure. So before we go further into purity of intention, we need to understand what is success. Every human being wishes to succeed. It is a universal common desire of all humankind. Only a crazy person says, I wish to fail. But what does success mean? Very often, people are programmed to blindly run after what society has considered as success. Like if you graduated from school in the 1960s and 70s in India, you only thought, should I become an engineer or a doctor or go into the army? There were 3 options for success. Now there are so many more. but people are still blindly running. Ask them, what is success all about? Many would say to become a billionaire would be my idea of success, because then I could have my private boat, private plane, my limousine and my mansion. But the point to ponder is, if that billionaire is successful, then why is he unhappy? There are so many billionaires in this world who cannot sleep at night until they take their sleeping pills. You look at the external. Wow, this is the size of his car, and he's got a chauffeur, and he's got a 10-bedroom house. But if you could look inside, you'd say, Ram, 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 isse to main hi acha hu. There are others who pursue fame and look on popularity as the parameter for success. But our scriptures say, Chakradharopi suratvam suratvalabhe sakala surapatitvam bhavitum surapatirurdhvagatitvam tathapi na nivartate trishna. That super successful king of a country is not satiated. He wishes to be the Chakravarti Samrat of the world. And the Chakravarti Samrat is also not happy. He wishes to become a Devta, celestial god. The Devta wants to be Devraj Indra. Indra is looking at the throne of Brahma. This desire finds no fulfillment, no matter how much you try to satiate it. So what is the definition of success? Ask Mr. Google, you'll not get the answer. If you ask me, I'd say to develop divine love for God is success. But then many people cannot connect with such a highly spiritual definition. So I thought of breaking it down into some tangibles to which people can relate. And here is what I came up with. Success should have 3 aspects to it. You wish to be good. You wish to do good. And you wish to feel good. These are the 3 universal common aspirations of us all. We wish to become good. Why is this desire to be good in us? Because God is all good. He has got innumerable divine qualities, Ishwariya Sampatti. As His little parts, we naturally love these divine qualities. That is why everybody loves truthfulness, honesty, kindness, generosity, compassion. You may say, Swamiji, everybody loves truthfulness. Which world are you living in? There are so many who lie habitually. Teri kasam, meri kasam. No, they may be telling lies, I don't deny. But if you lie to the liar, will he like it? He will complain. Why did you lie to me? Arey Baba, you are a liar yourself. That is all right. I can tell lies, but you should not tell lies to me. Even the inveterate liar wants honest behavior from others. This is called honesty amongst thieves. We may be adharmic, but from others we want dharmic behavior. When Karna in the Mahabharata, his chariot wheel got stuck in the ground, Lord Krishna told Arjun, look, here's your chance. Right now his back is towards you. When his chest is towards you, you will not be able to shoot him. So hit him in the back. Karna heard Lord Krishna. He had been born through the ear, so his ears were very powerful. His name is Karna. He said, Sri Krishna, you are God. You have manifested the laws of dharma in the Vedas. And you are teaching Arjun adharma? What kind of God are you? So Karan said, Kshatra dharma mamekshasva. Oh Sri Krishna, what is the dharma of Kshatriyas? Think. See, in the Vedas, even for fighting a war, there are codes of conduct. Do not shoot anybody after sunset in the dark. Do not hit under the belt or in the back. Don't lift your hand on ladies. This is just warfare. So Karan is reminding Sri Krishna about the rules of dharma. Lord Krishna replied, Karan, you love dharma? Where was your dharma when the right of the Pandavas was being denied to them? What happened to your dharma when Draupadi was being humiliated? If you loved dharma, why are you fighting on behalf of the adharmic Kauravas? Lord Krishna said, Oh Karna, what dharma did you follow in the past? What I am trying to show is that we may do wrong, but we want others to do right to us. One thief stole from somewhere. When he came home, he counted his booty. Ooh, I got a lot today. With great happiness, he went off to sleep. But at night, disaster struck in his home. A thief entered and looted from him. The first thief, when he woke up in the morning and discovered, who is this? How dare he? Doesn't he know who I am? If I find him, I'll break his teeth and smash his forehead. Why are you getting so upset? You are a thief yourself. You should be delighted. Your party has got double. First there was one thief in this mohalla. Now there are two. No, I can steal from others, but nobody should steal from me. The point is, God is the possessor of Daivi Gun, divine attributes. As His little parts, we also wish to become divine like Him. And that is the purpose of religion. So Swami Vivekananda expressed it so brilliantly when he said, these great prophets were not unique. They were human as you and I, and they had attained super consciousness. And you and I can do the same. The very fact that one man achieved that state indicates that all can do so. And that ultimately is religion. What is the purpose of religion? Not some rituals to become scared by. Religion is the science of achieving super consciousness and perfection, to fulfill the natural aspiration of every soul to be the best that we can be. That is the first definition of success.